All these questions inform how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. If you as a leader are not able to articulate this clearly to your group and any outsider that would love to join you, so we need to be aware of these things. Healthy values are what we consider those that encourage members to care, that enrich themselves, and understanding community and the principles of community. The Art of Community, 7 Principles for Belonging by Charles H. Vogl.
What is it that I'm actually looking for?
Do we really know life?
But let me say intelligence. Emotional intelligence, social intelligence, financial intelligence.
So I believe it's important for each and every one of us to understand the rules that govern any arena of your life.
You are listening to The Revenge of the Forsaken Gods, a podcast that explores the human experience and seeks to create a blueprint for living using books, stories, movies, and conversations. And here is your host, Andrew Balongo Opere.
Hello, this is Andrew Balongo Opere, and in this edition of the podcast, I'll be reviewing the book The Art of Community by Charles H. Vogl. Now, this is a live presentation done at the League of Young Professionals Book Club, which meets once a month, and we review books on various topics ranging from autobiographies to business to relationships. So, enjoy the episode.
Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Andrew Balongo Opere, and I shall be taking you through The Art of Community, 7 Principles for Belonging by Charles H. Vogl. That's his picture, and he's a consultant and award-winning author. He deals with tech, he's dealt with finance, media, government, and an interesting fact about him is he did his master's at Yale. And generally throughout his life, he's not found his groups to fit in. Like in his teens, his cousin Aaron took him to a church, but he just wasn't feeling it. In his 20s, he joined the US Marine Corps, and as he was with the volunteers, there's this unwritten rule that guys are drinking together and he doesn't drink. So one of the guys just told him straight up, I don't trust people that don't drink. And when he went to Yale, he also still felt like an outsider. You know how you kind of feel you've been invited to this prestigious institution and they're going to find out you're a fake. So he was very scared. Like I'm going to be found out I'm a fraud and then get thrown out of Yale. So in his attempt just to try and make things all right, him and his wife at the time, they started hosting dinners every Friday. At first, people would give excuses, I'm busy, I'm not coming. They would come and then they would cancel. Then finally, they'd cook a large feast, then people show up. But over a while, people started showing up. And, at first he was dismayed because he could have gone anywhere on a Friday night. He had to cancel a lot of things. But eventually, the group grew to over 500 plus. They had a lot of relationships to the point where now they even asked for volunteers to prepare the menu, cook the food, and organize this. And at the end of that, they had friendships where they could call on each other during good time, but also they could even call on people when they just wanted to cry. He has a friend called Nick, and they call each other the 3 a.m. friends, where you can call at that time and they listen to you and you can cry. So that really helped him and his wife and those friends actually go through their time at Yale. And those are also one of the impulses that caused him to write this book. As an outsider, he has the best way of writing this material. And also, when he was doing his degree, he learned about ethics, religion, and philosophy. So he's also gotten the principles from these established traditions. How have they been able to keep their communities running as long as they have? How do they cater towards their participants? So the contents, I'll go through 2 main points: understanding community and the principles of community. So understanding community comes in 4 parts: recognizing a community, values that bind a community, values and membership identity, communities and moral propositions. So the first one, recognizing a community. People might think a community is very obvious in what it is, but it's not. A group of individuals who share mutual concern for one another's welfare. That might seem obvious, but if you look at the next point, a group is the same thing. People who share ideas, interests, but they lack concern for one another. Now, even as we go through this, I'd like you to think of LYP, the group that we are in right now, and even the groups that you're in. Do you just share ideas and you care about one another? Or you just share ideas and once the session is over, you don't care, it's bye out of the window or out of the door. Membership identity. I'd like you to take note of these 3 points. Who am I? How should I act? What do I believe? These are the 3 things that he defines what makes up our identities. Now, what makes up my identity in this group might not necessarily be duplicated in another group. For example, I might be kind amongst YP members, but me as an entrepreneur might be very unkind to my clients. So it does not automatically jump from one sphere to another. So, healthy values are what we consider those that encourage members to care, that enrich themselves and others. So even as you're here, are you being enriched? Are you enriching others? Shared values. The whole reason why we are in this group together is because we believe we have values that we share, and the things in quotes that we disdain, we don't like, we also share those things, like being ignorant. So even like if you hear a lot of the things that we share, the values that we share here, learning, this is an atmosphere where we can improve. So yes, we clearly share and recognize and personally represent the values so that others can recognize they want to join. So the explicit and implicit values, and this is very important, especially if you're a leader in any capacity, even an entrepreneur. We always communicate values. People always say value, mission, vision, whatever. That's very explicit. This is what we believe in. But we don't articulate the things that are implicit, and these are the things that could unravel our business, our families, our groups. For example, we might say that we are all inclusive, we accept everyone. But implicitly, maybe we ignore people that are different than us. Maybe they have a tattoo, or maybe they are in jail, or and we notice that we really don't talk to them, we back away. So we might be unaware of certain implicit values that might unravel the threads of our enterprise, whatever it is. So be careful if you're a leader entrepreneur. Communities and moral presuppositions. Proscriptions. Yes, mark these questions down. These are sort of the questions that guide us as we relate to one another in the group. What and whom do we protect? What is intolerable? What do we share? With whom do we share? Whom do we respect? How do we show respect? All these questions inform how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. If you as a leader are not able to articulate this clearly to your group and any outsider that would love to join you for whatever reason, then you will find that the group will somehow push them out, or someone who you might be aware of is the leader or not the leader might push those people out. For example, it's very clear that in this particular group, our facilitator, Martin, he's the authority right here. So if someone was to do any sort of behavior that's not conducive to the group environment, it would look funny if maybe just someone else decided to chase them away as opposed to Martin. Then we'd all know if that person complied, that person is an authority figure, but they don't have an official title, but they do hold authority within the group. So we need to be aware of these things. So now we go to the next point, which are the 7 principles of belonging. I'll go through the first 3, boundary, initiation, and rituals, but I'll just slightly define the other 4, which is temples, stories, symbols, and inner rings. The boundary principle. This is the line between members and outsiders. So you find that a boundary serves a particular function. This is the area where it is our safe space to be able to share our values, our activities, and what have you. Now, when we invite insiders, they can get to watch so that they can decide if they'll be part of this group or not. But this boundary is very clear, and you find that not only does this happen in any group like LYB, but you notice it's in any group. Schools, families. Yes, it's a confident place because we all understand each other. We all understand our language. We're here to learn. When criticism is done, we don't catch feelings because we've set those precedents as the values we have within the club. So if an outsider starts hearing some of this language, they might say, hey, what's going on here? They might not understand it as much. An interesting challenge if you're a leader is what I call if you're overly inclusive versus overly exclusive. What does this mean? If our group tends to be overly inclusive, that means we're accepting everyone. Everyone might not be sharing our same values. So we might be introducing mismatched values. For example, it is a clear value that we like to learn and improve and accept criticism. So we might find people that maybe they don't want to come here to learn, but they just want to come and argue and debate ideas. Debating is a different forum, but that might not mix well here. Versus overtly exclusive, that means we make it so tightly packed, no one can enter. So the question would be, who has authority in this group? It's too exclusive that we can't even really grow. Initiation principle. We're very familiar with this principle. Whenever anyone is brought into a new group, we always do an activity. You know, they sign the membership form and you say, congratulations, Daisy, our new member, everyone, round of applause. Yeah. So you see, we're all aware of initiation principles. The activities that mark a new member to the group, and once they get into the group, this new member gets the privileges of the group. Now, another example I'd like to give, an acceptance letter from a university. We're familiar with things like this. And if you are a leader in any capacity, it's recommended to even just give someone a call if you're onboarding a new member. It really helps with building that community that they feel warm and included. And the challenge as a leader, especially with this initiation principle, is a crisis of belonging. And I did mention this earlier, where you find that you're entering this prestigious place and you might feel, hey, this place is not for me. The caliber of people here, oh my God, I can't come and speak here. There's Regina Ray, she's an actress. There's Alan, he's been speaking all over the world. Oh my God, I can't speak in this forum. There's Andrew. So the way to be able to assist with this challenge is, as a leader, you have to invite the new person. Because when you invite the new person, you're showing that number one, I have the authority. And number two, what this does is you're extending this authority to the other person. So it's like, oh, you've reached out and now I belong. Because the authority figure does impact the group. So it does impact the sense of belonging. Like, oh, I'm part of this group, I'm well. Number three is the ritual principle. We are very familiar with rituals, like birthday parties, like the way when he asked us to do this introduction thing. What do you want to change? Your nickname, a description about you. These are rituals. Any practice that marks as a time or event as special as important, it makes new members feel valued and connected. Now, there's a form to it, and we're very familiar with it. The number three, opening, body, and clothes. When you open, you introduce how this is going to be, you inform what's going to happen. The body, this is where you inform everyone what's going to happen. When you close, you finish off and you give people a chance to execute whatever they're going to learn from the body. That's the foundational form. And normally this ritual principle, inviting, is very powerful because it invites us to participate. So the last four principles. Temple, it's very obvious. This is the place where the group houses its activities, where we do our thing. You mentioned you're in Rotary, so you know that you guys meet at a specific location at a particular time. So there's no confusion. So you know, the new members can know where to meet you if they want to. Stories. This is how we share everything that goes on into the group. We hear that he's in Rotary, he's a communications coach. Everyone has been using stories to all teach what goes on in this group. Symbols. We use symbols as a way to embody. Like, for example, a cake is a symbol to celebrate the life of that person. You know, the actual cake cannot celebrate it, but we just use it as a symbol, as a token. The inner rings, a path to grow as we participate. In other words, these are just the stages of growth in leadership. Obviously, the person that starts as a new member cannot become a facilitator like Regina Ray. They have to go through the process. You come and do presentations. After doing presentations, you volunteer, then you go through the training. There are always levels in any organization, even at home. So that's what inner rings represents. The end is not a bad thing. And it's okay for a community to end. What are the reasons for a community ending? There are very many reasons. Maybe you might get an opportunity, you move, or maybe the goal of the group ends. It can be very many reasons. Or maybe it even violates its values. So many things happen. Natural disaster, people die, the founder dies. So many reasons why it could end. So we need to consider what the real purpose is. That is to nurture its members. And that way you'll know that regardless of whether the group only lasted for a week or years, were you enriched? Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the podcast. If you have learned anything from this edition, please share one takeaway that you've gotten from this in the comment section below. And if this presentation has been beneficial to you, please like, share with your friends, and also subscribe so that we may continue to grow this community. Thank you very much and have a great day.